beautiful unseen photos of the British royal family. The technologies of photography and television gave the people of the 20th century an extraordinary glimpse into the lives of the members of British royal family. They have been on show far more than any of their ancestors ever were while experiencing the tumultuous changes of the British Empire and the role of the monarchy in Britain. Still, not all has been known of the family and its daily life. We collected some interesting facts about the lives of members of the royal family, next to some of the most amazing unseen photos of them, offering a deeper understanding of the British monarchy. A special bond between mother and daughter. For the first 10 years of her life, Princess Elizabeth never expected to become queen. Without the pressures of becoming heir to the throne, she enjoyed a very close relationship with her mother. Queen Mother made sure young Elizabeth knew domestic duties, even though they lived a lavish lifestyle. It was only when her uncle abdicated the throne and her own father was crowned that her destiny changed entirely. Little Queen Mother. This family photo of a 9-year-old child practicing her curtsy was taken in 1909, and it is actually the Queen Mother when she was 9-year-old Lady Elizabeth Angela Marguerite Bowes-Lyon. Little did she know she was destined to become Duchess of York, Queen, and the Queen Mother to the present Queen. Born in the Victorian age, her life charted unprecedented changes to the British monarchy. Gracious Duchess. With her husband crowned only 3 short years earlier, the Duchess of York, now Queen, became a beloved source of moral support to the British people during World War II. She refused to evacuate her children or herself. Indeed, her daughter, then Princess Elizabeth, donned a uniform and drove trucks for the war effort. The young princesses. After Elizabeth married Albert, the Duke of York, in 1923, the couple was blessed with 2 daughters, Princess Margaret Rose and Princess Elizabeth. She rejected his proposal twice because she did not want to be a member of the royal family, before finally accepting, little expecting to become queen. They were married in Westminster Abbey on April 26, 1923. Rare color photo of domestic life. Princess Elizabeth was born 3 years into the marriage of Albert and Elizabeth, with Princess Margaret Rose born 4 years after that. The Queen Mother was very attached to her children and hated leaving them, even though the demands of her husband's role meant she had to travel to distant parts of the British Empire when international journeys could take months. The unexpected heir to the throne. For much of her childhood, Princess Elizabeth never imagined that she would be the heir to the throne. In 1936, when she was 10, her uncle abdicated to marry a divorced woman, and her father, the king's younger brother, became King George VI, and the course of her life completely changed. The World War. Princess Elizabeth was a teenager when war broke out. As an auxiliary mechanic and truck driver, she is the only female member of the British royal family to join the armed services and the only living head of state to have served in World War II. Princess Margaret. This photo shows the young sisters Elizabeth and Margaret. Princess Margaret, Countess of Snowdon, would spend much of her life kicking at the traces of her royal duties. Although married for 18 years before divorcing photographer Anthony Armstrong-Jones, she was reputed to often drink too much, had affairs with a number of men, and often made statements which embarrassed the royal family. Special relationship. Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret enjoyed a very special relationship as children, growing up in a close-knit family which was later tested by Elizabeth's royal duties and Margaret's willful ways. Princess Margaret would call her Lilibet. When she became Queen, Elizabeth insisted on getting a direct line between Buckingham Palace and her sister at Kensington Palace, 2 miles away. Visit to South Africa. In 1947, Princess Elizabeth, accompanied by her parents King George VI, Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret, took a state visit to South Africa. The journey took an astonishing 3 months on board the HMS Vanguard, where the royal family also visited Swaziland. During the trip, Elizabeth famously announced that her life would be devoted to serving the country. True love story. Princess Elizabeth fell deeply in love with Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark when she was just a teenager, even though he was her distant cousin. Even though he struggled at first to play second fiddle to the Queen in a chauvinistic age, he has been her greatest support for all the years of her long reign. The royal wedding. Elizabeth's father, King George VI, was reticent about Princess Elizabeth's choice of husband, but the couple was married in 1947. Britain was still dealing with the economic hardship of World War II, so Elizabeth had to collect ration coupons to buy the fabric for her wedding dress. German royalty, including Prince Philip's 3 sisters, were not invited. What's in a name? King George VI was not happy with the marriage of Elizabeth and Philip. Philip was considered brash, without resources, and his royal lineage minor. Once Elizabeth and Philip got married at London's Westminster Abbey, they took on the name Windsor, although it wasn't their first choice. They preferred to keep Philip's family name, Mountbatten, but the government did not approve. Mountbatten Windsor. On her marriage, her family and the British government insisted that Princess Elizabeth keep her family name of Windsor. Both families had changed their surnames from their German ones due to anti-German sentiment during the First World War. Much effort was required to defuse Prince Philip's insistence that the family take his surname, and only in 1960 were male descendants without royal titles able to take on the name Mountbatten Windsor. Charles is born. Prince Charles was born in 1948 when Elizabeth was just 22 years old. King George VI had issued a decree only a month before Charles's birth which permitted Princess Elizabeth's children to become princes or princesses, even though their father was not a royal prince. Charles was made Prince of Wales at the young age of 10. Calm life pre-coronation. Unaware that she would find herself on the throne at such an early age, Princess Elizabeth enjoyed an idyllic life in the early 1950s with her husband Prince Philip. This photo from 1950 shows the princess on one of her many trips in the empire when she was probably pregnant with her second child, Princess Anne. Growing up royal. This 1950 photo shows Princess Elizabeth with her newborn daughter Anne, as well as the Queen Mother and Prince Charles. The Queen Mother would always be a strong and supportive presence in the lives of her grandchildren. Queen Elizabeth's children were the first royal children to attend school rather than have private tutors. Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe for more story.